Good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll discuss two cases in postmenopausal women. Patient 50 years old female, P3L3A0, came to OPD with chief complaints of postmenopausal bleeding since 1 month. On transabdominal sonography, we can see in the axial image of the uterus, we can see a well-defined heterogeneous predominantly hypoechoic lesion was noted in the endometrial cavity, completely filling it. We can see the thin endometrium lining the is well separated from this lesion. Then the endomyometrial is also well differentiated in this image. In sagittal image, we can see same the lesion with maintained endomyometrial junction. Then on color Doppler, we can see a single vessel was feeding the single feeder vessel was noted besides the lesion. So then on transvaginal sonography, the single feeder vessel along with the lesion was more clearly elicited. So in a patient with ET 9 mm and uniformly hyperechogenic ET without any cyst and the bright edge sign elicited, regular endomyometrial junction and a single vessel on color Doppler. So according to IETA guidelines, her score is less than 6.5, which suggests towards benign neoplastic etiology, and in this case, since single vessel was elicited, features suggest towards the endometrial polyp. Now in a patient, similar uniformly heterogeneous hyperechogenic lesion was noted in the cervical region. This lesion also, here we can see it is the endomyometrial junction is well differentiated. On Doppler, we can see a single vascular pedicle is noted besides this lesion. These all points also points towards the endometrial polyp. Now a second case, a female 65-year-old P2L2 female came to OPD with chief complaints of postmenopausal bleeding since 6 months with history of loss of weight and appetite. Now on transabdominal sonography of the patient on axial image of the uterus, we can see ill-defined heterogeneous predominantly hyperechoic lesion and filling the entire endometrial cavity, and we can also see small cystic spaces within this lesion, and these cystic spaces appear to be irregular and of different variable sizes. Then here the endomyometrial junction is not well appreciated. It seems to be interrupted and distorted. Then on color Doppler, we can see multiple vessels in these lesions. So in this patient, the ET is 2.1 centimeter, non-uniform heterogeneous echogenicity and with irregular cyst. It is undefined and in midline. It has interrupted endomyometrial junction and multiple vessels are noted. So according to IET guidelines, these features suggest towards the malignant neoplastic etiology. In this case, it suggests towards endometrial carcinoma, and we recommend histopathological correlation in this patient. Thank you.
So we would be discussing some of the miscellaneous cases now. So first case, here the patient came with the history of passage of blood clots through the vagina. Patient had the history of UPD test positive since 7 days back. Here we could see there is a thickened endometrium and it shows heterogeneous echo texture. Similarly, on the color Doppler image also we see the raised vascularity in the endometrial complex. On CNSF here also here we could see the raised vascularity in the endometrial complex. Here as we could see, even in the high PRF of setting of 40, here we could see the raised vascularity. On the spectral Doppler here we could see the both the arterial as well as venous flow. So this is the typical case of the considering the history of the UPD test positive with the passage of the blood clots. The diagnosis of the retained products of conception was made here. Another close differential diagnosis for the retained products of conception is the AV malformation of the endometrium. But just to differentiate between the AV malformation and the retained products of conception, RPOC is generally most common diagnosis, that is about approximately 99% of the cases would be RPOC, whereas the AV malformation of the uterine cavity is very rare diagnosis, but it generally gives the similar features on the ultrasonography. History is important to differentiate between both these conditions. Second case here, the patient is 45 years old female and presented with passage of heavy menstrual bleeding. Here we could see the endomyometrial junction could not be visualized properly. Also here in the second image we could see various artifacts could be seen here. These are particularly known as the Venetian blind artifacts, seen as the hypoechoic shadows from the endometrium. Here we could see again the anterior myometrium as compared to the posterior myometrium. Both there is a difference between the anterior and the posterior myometrium too. Here in the image also, in the next image, transvaginal ultrasonography was performed. As we all know, for evaluation of the endometrium, compared to the transabdominal sonography, transvaginal sonography gives better picture clarity. Again, the similar features were observed here also. The endometrium could not be evaluated properly, that is, the endomyometrial junction complex could not be seen properly. Also, the Venetian blind artifacts could be seen. Multiple echogenic nodules could also be seen as here. These are the typical features of the adenomyosis. So, the features which includes the adenomyosis are disparity between the anterior and posterior myometrium, poor visualization of endomyometrial junction complex, echogenic nodules, and multiple variable size small tiny cysts. These are the typical features of the adenomyosis. This would be the last case we would be discussing today. The case patient presented with the passage of heavy menstrual bleeding. The patient was advised sonography. On sonography, here we could see the hyperechoic lesion was seen in the uterine cavity, surrounded by the hypoechoic heterogeneous lesion. This is the typical hyperechoic lesion, that is that it is the fat content along with the heterogeneous lesion, which suggests of the lipoleomyoma. Again, the transvaginal sonography was performed. On the transvaginal sonography, here we could see the hyperechoic content, that is the fat content, which was measuring of approximately 1.7 into 1.1 centimeter. It showed minimal vascularity on color Doppler. Considering the features here, why we would not consider the leiomyoma is because of the presence of hyperechoic content, that is the fat content. Hence, the diagnosis of the lipoleomyoma was given. Thank you.